Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Juawanna. I'm your host, and this is your encouragement for today. Look, I am excited, and I know you all keep saying, oh, she's excited every week. Yes, I am. I'm excited every week. Anytime I get to go before the Lord and bring that word to you, I'm excited. But today I'm excited about the topic that we're talking about. We're talking about the importance of being you. It's important for you to be you. It's important for you to be okay with being you. So we're going to get into that a little bit, but right now I want to introduce my co-host, Brea Miles. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, and then we're going to jump into the word.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? This is Brea Miles. I'm so honored and so grateful to be here. Miss Juawanna is absolutely incredible. Your encouragement for today is dope, it's fire, it's all of the above. And I am a Christian recording artist. I do Christian hip hop. I'm also an author, a speaker, a host. I've got a radio show on Praise 100.9 FM in the city of Charlotte, 704. What's up? I'm gonna be home real soon. And man, I love God. I love his people. I love kingdom work, real kingdom work, the real kingdom work. And man, just loving God. And I've got my bachelor's degree in communications and in business with a minor in theology. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun today.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
The Vote Plus One is out everywhere right now. Stream that. That's my new project. Stream that everywhere music is available.
Amen. So look, I'm coming from, the verse for today is Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. Before the world was formed, he knew us.
Fire.
Before we knew our names, he had already called us. Yeah, it's important for us to be okay with being us because God knows who we are. He called, we're okay, there's a lot of people named Brea. There's a lot of people, there's not too many people named Juawanna, but the few that are,
right.
You know, when he calls my name, only I'm gonna answer. Ooh. I don't care who else named Juawanna it is, when he calls me, I'm answering. You know what I'm saying? Part. So that's why we have to be okay with being ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to speak on it because, and the reason why I wanted to talk on that with you because I've listened to some of your music and you always, not even just the music, but I've heard you speak and you're always encouraging women, young ladies to be themselves, to be okay with what God is calling them to be. So can you just talk on that a little bit?
Heck yeah, I think it's so important. I think most of us get things mixed up a little bit and we get off track, off balance. We don't know our way because we don't know who we are. And so, of course, our society is really, what I love about America is the fact that we have such a opportunity to inspire and to influence, and we really do. Every nation, every continent, every country, from our art, our fashion, our food, our culture, is really inspired by America. But I feel like it's crazy when you can have such influence but don't know who you are, right?
Yes.
And that's where it gets really tricky. So I always encourage people to spend time with God, spend time in the Word of God, spend time with knowing yourself, because at the end of the day, the beginning and the middle of the day, for real, if you don't know who you are, it's going to be very hard for you to be secure. It's going to be very hard and difficult for you to understand and appreciate and respect and honor the value and worth that God himself breathed in you. Because we got to understand, like, it's a gift from God. Like, you are an absolute gift from God. And we hear that a lot, but we don't really understand the depths of what that means. Because if we did, we wouldn't just carry ourselves any type of way. We wouldn't just say anything. We wouldn't just act a certain way. We would carry ourselves with some class, with some dignity, with some respect, with some honor. And that is because of the one who gave us all of those things. So I'm always speaking on it because we need to hear it and we need to know what it means so that we can be the bosses that we are.
Amen. So, you know, I was looking at, in that scripture, it said, before you were born, I sanctify you. So I looked up the meaning of sanctified.
Yeah.
And it means set apart or appointed. And meaning you were not meant to fit in.
Ever.
You're never meant to fit in. You know what I'm saying? Because once you do, then you're just like everybody else. But when God is calling you, you're not going to fit into what everybody else is doing. Some people and I think that's where we start feeling not good about ourselves, because we want to fit in with what social media. You know what I'm saying?
And social media, for the most part, is cap. Most of it is lies. Most of it is a facade. Most of it is purchased. For real, like, it is what it is. It's very few people on there in perspective fields that have an authentic fan base or authentic pictures, I mean, for real, like, it just is what it is. And I think that we look at these things that the people that we're looking at don't even have. So we worried about the way somebody else look, and they don't even look like that. We worried about the way somebody else sound, and they don't even sound like that. Like, I'll never forget when I went into the studio and I learned for the first time that there is a processing box that an artist could put their voice through to sound like somebody else. And I was like, now, wait a minute, that wasn't your real voice the whole time? Because when I get in there, like, I didn't know. Like, I just was like, yo, this is my voice. I'm going to hop on this song and cool. But the fact that things can be so easily manipulated, you can change notes, you can change pictures. And people are literally sitting there comparing yourself to something that is not real. They don't even have it. So it's just crazy the way society can play on us when we have to realize that we're the standard. We're the called ones. We're the set apart ones, the sanctified ones. We lead, we don't follow. And if we can ever get that mindset in us for real, the game is over. It's done.
What's that saying? Everything that glitters
ain't gold.
Ain't gold.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Sometimes it's painted on.
Yes. Yes. And that's what we're dealing with today. That's, you know, and I think about, you know, especially some of these younger girls, they're seeing what we're seeing on the internet and everything, and they're trying to be that. They're trying to be something, but that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to try to be someone else. You still got to be you. So you're using a lot of energy trying to be that person, but you still dealing with you.
That part. And the thing about it, I think the thing that really gets me is and this is why we need good pastors. This is why we need good leadership, good family, like good community. It's the fact that a person's mind will literally make them think that they can be somebody else. When we know that it's impossible to be someone else. So the only thing that you can do that is real is be you. Don't worry about somebody else. Don't worry about, like, it's just crazy. So I feel like, man, like, if we ever expose the truth like you're doing here on this show, if we ever get to the real, it'll help and it'll shift and it'll change so many people. That's why we need this show. That's why we need your encouragement for today.
Oh, thank you. And so just thinking about what you just said too, the lies that been told to us for years and years. You're not good enough. You're never gonna be anything. You know, a lot of that, you know, I've heard those lies, you know, and that messes with you. It messes with you. It messes with your self-esteem, and it makes you want to try to become someone else different, because the people that's supposed to protect you and love you are making you feel like you're not good enough. So then you go out there and you try to imitate. You try to pretend. But like I said, that takes a lot of energy.
It does. And I think a lot of it is like when you really tap in with who you are, and I think we've all been in that place where people speak negative of us. And I'm, for me, like, I am a no negative, like, if you negative, you're not gonna like being around me. Because more often than not, I'm gonna kindly put you in your place and you're just not gonna be around me. And I know that's hard, but like, people don't understand the reason why you have to protect your energy. And I know that's a popular saying now, like, man, protect your energy, protect your energy, protect your, but you really do have to do it, because that's what God is, it's a gift. And you don't just let nobody come in your house and trash it. You don't just let nobody get in your car and eat the French fries and they fall all down in the cracks of the, you take care of it's like we take care of stuff more than we take care of ourselves.
That's
like we'll clean a car more than we'll clean our spirit. We will, you know what I mean? We'll do all of these things except for put back into ourselves. And so I think the thing with me is, like, once I realized, and, you know, just on some personal stuff, like, once I realized what God gave me, I was like, oh yeah, like, ain't gonna be no negativity around me. They're like, because I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, we're not built to be negative. God is, like, if you look in the 66 books of the Bible, there's never a time that God is negative. Right? He might correct you, and there's a difference between correction and negativity. And even with that, we have to be mindful of the people, and I'm gonna talk about it later. We gotta be mindful of the people that wanna joke, but them underhanded comments, right? Oh, you stupid. Or oh, you think you this, or oh, you think you have to be very careful, because people will try to plant that in you, and they know what they're doing. You might not know what they're doing if you're not onto it, but at the end of the day, if you're negative, if anybody is negative, do not allow them around you, because negativity is just sent to drain you, it's sent to confuse you and make you have doubt. So anything negative is not from God, so just get it from around you.
And back to the, I remember telling you this some weeks ago when, we were talking about lies, and we were saying how a lie does not have power.
Yeah.
It's your belief in the lie that gives it power.
Everything.
So, we have to be careful, like you say, about what we're letting people say to us.
Yup.
Because that thing will get in our spirit, and you'll start eating, drinking, and sleeping, and all that with that negative energy that you've allowed in your space.
You've allowed.
That you've allowed.
You've allowed. Because nobody, like, here's the thing about it. Nobody has power over you but you and God.
That's it.
The only thing anybody can do is say something. That's really it. The only thing a person could do is think something, but nothing has power until you give it power. Nothing matters until you make it matter. Nothing comes to life. Nothing manifests. And I know that's popular, but that's from the Bible. The Bible is the author of manifestation. God manifests, God creates, from the book of Genesis. He's the one that does that. Sidebar, that's just for free. But the thing about it is, only what you give validity, only what you give credence, only what you give power to has power. So the thing about it is, a lot of us give other people our power because we're putting our power in their hands when we agree with them in a negative sense, but we can't do that. We can't. We have to take back our power by understanding who we are, our value, our esteem, our worth. It's like with the word you just gave, we're set apart. Just accept it. Just accept it.
That's right. Just accept that. So I was just looking at one, and I was thinking about, when we're trying to be other people. Some, we see where some people have certain things, and those are the things we want. But we don't even know the cost.
We don't.
That they paid to get that. And if we're even willing to go through the things that they've gone through to get where they are. So we got to be careful when we're starting to want what other people want.
Or emulate. And I think what we have to be careful is that there is a line that when you cross it, it becomes demonic. Because people don't understand that God creates, the devil imitates. So if you're seeing yourself trying to form, manipulate, maneuver, and become someone else, that is demonic. God only does original things. God does not copy. God does not remix. God does not set. And I'm gonna talk about that. He don't do any of that. Like God is literally the ultimate G when it comes to creating. So if you ever find yourself in a space of wanting to be someone else, or you're literally shaping yourself or building yourself or speaking, and it's okay to be like inspired, but when it crosses the line of like you wanting to actually be somebody, that's demonic. And you have to be mindful of how the devil can work in that situation on you to lessen your value and to ultimately spit in God's face to say, well, I'm not good enough anyway. Like, and that's really what it is. Like,
Yeah, at the end of the day, because God said he was pleased.
He said he was pleased.
He was pleased.
He was pleased when he said,
so why can't we be pleased with what God's pleased with?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be okay with us. Be okay with. But I was going to ask this question: why do you think we are really trying to alter ourselves to be like someone else? I mean, what do you think the issue is deep down inside?
I mean, I definitely feel that it touches on insecurity is at the root of it. I think that's the biggest thing, and people could be insecure in so many different ways. You can struggle with insecurity in so many different ways and not even know it. Like I read this one article, and I forget the term, but basically it's like you could be skinny, but you don't think you're skinny. You can be intelligent, but you don't think you're intelligent. You could be wearing black, but you think that you're wearing blue. Like it's like a whole lot. And I think that insecurity is definitely the root at it, and we can look at it from a David and a Saul perspective, because Saul got extremely jealous, and the root of jealousy is insecurity. You know what I mean? You stepped out of pocket, you stepped out of place, and now you don't feel like your space is secure anymore. Like you feel like somebody else is coming in. And so like when we look at the scripture, it talks about that. And so I feel like for us right now, people are just so insecure in who they are that, you know, when you see someone that is moving, and when you see somebody that's doing well like yourself, when you see somebody that's, you know, striving to be all that God had, it's a threat. You know what I mean? Because you're like, well, how come them and not me?
Yeah.
And it kind of taps back to what you were saying. Like, it's not only do you not know the cause, it's you don't know, you don't know what comes with that. You know what I mean? Like I've personally, and I thank God, like I've never struggled with like insecurity or jealousy or anything like that. But when you look at most great people, like let's look at Michael Jackson.
Okay.
The one to break the color barriers for music, right? Like that guy went through a whole lot to be the very first. Nobody could lead him. Nobody could guide him. You don't know what the conversation is, but just to be that talented in front of the entire world, that's a different level. And so a lot of people see the end result of what you do. They see the end result of your encouragement for today, or they hear the end result of a song or a performance or something that I do. And it's like, I want that 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you don't know anything that came before then, and how difficult and what a struggle it had been to get to that point. And the spiritual attack that does come with it, especially when you have God into that equation. But I just think that when we get a firm understanding of God, because to know God is to know yourself, when you really tap in with that, a lot of that stuff can go away, and you can see your value, and then you won't be worried or compare yourself to someone else. And you say, hey, I'm dope too. Don't matter where I go, I'm dope too.
Yeah.
She's dope, I'm dope.
Yeah.
Okay, she's pretty, I'm pretty. And after a while, it doesn't get to be like, oh, she is, so then I am, then she has, and then I don't. After a while, it's just like, okay, go ahead, girl.
Yeah.
It gets to that, you know what I'm saying? And then that's how it's supposed to be. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah, we have to get to a place to where we can start encouraging other people, being happy for the other person. You know, because your time coming. You know.
Time and chance happens to us all. That's the word.
Yeah. But okay, I have a question. And then I almost didn't, I wanted to, because God spoke to me and said, you have to tell this. And I was like, but God, I've been holding this one for a long time. I'm going to share it on TV? Really? And so, and the question was, what are we really afraid of? What are we really scared of? And I'm going to just give my testimony of my fear and my insecurities. Oh goodness, Jesus, I can't believe. But I was scared for people to see me. And I lost sight in my eyes, and one of my eyes twice. One in 3rd grade and one when I was 21. And for all these years, I never wanted anyone to know. You know, because I didn't want them to look at me like I was less than, or that I couldn't do what needed to be done, because I didn't want to feel like I was handicapped. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, God is good. He gave it back to me. I had to have surgery. You know, I had to have surgery on my left eye. And so it left it a little, you know, it looks different. And so I got to the point where I didn't want people to look at me. Don't look at me in my face. You know, that's when I walk by, I put my head down because I didn't want people to look at me. And I didn't want them to see that. And so that's why I was telling you earlier, that's why I was okay with being behind the camera, behind the scene, because you couldn't see that about me. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with that. And I know that's part of an issue with people too. They don't want to tell the truth about their flaws or their thorn. I guess their thorn in their side. Because how I say you pray and ask God to take away that thorn. I've asked God to take it away so that I can feel okay with myself. But he didn't. So now it doesn't take away from, who God says I am. He still called my name. He still knew, you know what I'm saying? But I have to be okay with me. I have to be okay with my flaws. I have to be okay with that thing that happened to me. So that's what I was afraid of. And not being okay with me. Because, when he spoke to me, he said, how can you tell someone to be okay with them when you're not okay with yourself? And so I wanted to cancel it or change the subject. That's what I was like, is it too late to change the subject? But then I said, that's another reason why we can't move forward either. Because we're always running from the issue, from that thing that we feel holds us back. Since that happened to this day, it hasn't held me back. I held myself back because I wasn't okay with me. And a lot of people are dealing with that. They're not okay with themselves because of things they don't want people to see. And I had to share that. I didn't want to share it, but
But look at this, though. As I listen to your testimony, and God bless all of you. Here's how our God works. You were worried about that, right? So you hid behind the scenes. But when I met you, your presence is so huge. You were worried about your sight, but you out here working at a TV station giving sight to everybody, right? You out here putting the gospel on the forefront because of the vision that God is giving you. So of course the enemy will want to attack your mind because, oh man, I might not have exactly what I want, or I might be concerned about what other people, what they're going to see when they say. But at the end of the day, look at the parallel in the spirit. So the enemy thought he could attack your sight, but you're literally giving sight to thousands of your vision, what you see, what you dream of, what you is going to people all over Atlanta, and not just Atlanta, internationally and nationally. But that's the enemy. He would have you to think man, I gotta stay in the back. At the end of the day, here's the dope thing about our God. No matter what we do or how we feel about ourselves, we're always called to shine, because the word tells us, can a city on a hill be hidden? Nah. You know what I mean? So can you be hidden? No. You can't be hidden. But the enemy will try to make you think that you have to be hidden because you're not good. It's just, for me, it was just the irony in what you said to the fact that, like I said, you out here giving visions to millions of people around the world. Millions of people. Millions of people from your vision that the enemy thought that he could take. But God uses it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But so that was, when I thought about that and everything, I was like, I know a lot of people are dealing with that. Some, they do want to have the body. They want to have it with other people. But a lot of people are really dealing with that internal thing. They're fighting themselves because they're not happy with themselves. And so that's where we, I think that's like the hardest fight. The fight to be like somebody else is not, but to fight within yourself, to fight yourself,
that's a battle.
That's a battle. So we have to, and I pray that, 'cause like I said, that was something I didn't share with anyone. You can count on one hand what I've told people. Now I have to sit here and tell everyone. You know what I'm saying? But I pray that whoever is listening, that they would be willing to share it, to get it out there, because then God could really do some things. You know what I'm saying? Because because once it's out there, the enemy can't use it no more. You know what I'm saying? So now you're free. You're free. So I'm excited about being free today.
Amen.
I'm excited about being free. So yeah, we have to learn how to just be okay with ourselves.
Got to be. And love ourselves, respect ourselves, value ourselves, appreciate. Like, here's the thing, we're made in the image of God.
Yeah.
Yes. We're made in the image of the one who created the heavens and the earth, the visible and the invisible, all eternity, all authority, all power. We are made in his image. So of course, man, the enemy would try to make us not see that. Of course, he would want us to not accept that. Of course, he would want us to belittle that fact. But when you tap into the fact that you're made in the image of God, everything else like just falls off.
I know.
Let it fall off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And tap in with God, for real.
So I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much for joining me today. Look, I pray that you all have gotten something out of this. I pray that you be free this week. I pray that God will just open those doors that you didn't even think could be open after your freedom. After the freedom. You know, after you've become okay with just being you. Because God has a plan for you, not for who you're trying to be, but for you. So I pray that that you allow God to do what he's gonna do. So next week we're gonna have Brea handling her business, doing her thing, and talking about the goodness of the Lord, and to help you move forward in what God is gonna do in your life. Do you have any last words you wanna?
Heck yeah, man, just tap in with the Lord. Like, just tap in with the Lord. Don't allow the pandemic, don't allow distraction to intervene with what God is doing in your life. And that's the biggest plot of the enemy, is to make you distracted. So don't allow that. Stay tapped in with the Lord and understand that you're made in his image, and just do it. Do it.
So, like I said before, I think that God would look good on you. So we will see you next time.